Are you familiar with the story of Lazarus? So, he had two sisters, Mary and Margaret. They lived in Bethany, and Mary and Margaret were very good friends with Jesus. However, one day Lazarus gets sick, and they put out word for Jesus to come because they really wanted to save their brother. However, it took Jesus 2 days to get there. By the time he got there, Lazarus was already dead for 4 days. Now, cue to Jesus entering the chat. As soon as Martha saw him, she ran up to him. She was just grieving, and she tells him, Lord, had you been here, my brother would still be alive. Jesus looks at her and he tells her, your brother will rise again. Confused, she didn't quite understand what he meant. She thought he meant at the end of times. However, Jesus was talking about right there and then because he was about to resurrect him. Martha and Mary end up taking Jesus to Lazarus' tomb. He tells them to roll the stone away. Martha warned him the body would already smell. He's been dead for like 4 days. Jesus didn't care. Then he cried out, Lazarus, come out. And that's when Lazarus walked out, still wrapped up in his death clothes. Which brings us to this movie, made in 2015, The Lazarus Effect, When Resurrection Comes with a Price, a biblical warning mixed with science fiction horror. Now, Jesus did not resurrect Lazarus because of his ego or proof of intelligence. He did it as a divine act that was rooted in compassion and purpose. Death was conquered, but nothing dark came from it. Lazarus was completely restored. He comes back fully human. He is still himself. There is no hate. There's no superpowers. There's no corruption. Proof of life's victory over death. However, the Lazarus Effect takes that same concept of defying death and twists it into something horrifying. What if humans, not God, performed resurrections? What if the soul did not come back alone? And that's where the movie becomes a lot more than a lab experiment. It becomes terrifying. So we have two scientists who are really playing with the idea of being God, right? And they create a serum originally intended for animal trials, bringing back animals from the dead. However, their hope is to one day transfer it to human trials because, of course, you lose a loved one. What do you want? You want them back. So if this was at your disposal, would you take advantage of it? However, instead of faith, this movie completely replaces God with technology. Now, they do name the serum Lazarus, and it ends up taking a very dark turn when one of the scientists, Zoe, actually ends up dying, and they jump to human trials and bring her back. However, unlike Lazarus, who came back fully human, still himself, everything that he originally was, Zoe comes back with enhanced intelligence, telekinesis-like abilities. She has completely, detached from emotion altogether, and she comes back with this really intense growing sense of cruelty. Now, the one thing that gets me, though, what happens after death? Are we going to be met with our family members that we haven't seen in so long? Are we going to understand every single mistake that we made and look through the other person's perspective to enlighten our own soul for whatever is going to come next? Or is every single mistake that we made in life going to haunt us? Is it going to come back and be our personalized hell while we're trying to figure out the afterlife? We honestly have no idea, but I love that this movie plays with that idea as well. You can currently find The Lazarus Effect streaming on Tubi for free, and when you watch it, because you definitely should watch it, come back and tell me what you think.